got two important viruses belonging to these, important group of filoviruses, namely the Ebola virus and the Marburg virus. Why we need to know about these viruses is the fact that they cause hemorrhagic fever, and amongst all the viral hemorrhagic fevers, these are the most severe type of hemorrhagic fevers, and they are prevalent in the African region. So they are referred to as the causative agents of African hemorrhagic fever. All right. Now, they're very, very severe, and the case fatality rate ranges between 25 to 90%. Now, this is how the filoviruses look like. You can get an image-based question based on this picture. Now, remember F for philo, F for filament. These are, just like threads. They are long filamentous viruses with an average diameter of 80 nanometers, and the length is variable and can go up to 1400 nanometers. Okay, so this is the electron microscopic picture of filoviruses. Very important one. Now, first and foremost, I'm gonna talk about the Ebola virus, which is very, very important because this particular virus, first and foremost, made its appearance amongst humans in two severe outbreaks in Africa, which took place in the year 1976. Okay, these two African outbreaks simultaneously happened in two regions in Africa, namely the Sudan region and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, the outbreak which took place in the Democratic Republic of Congo, it occurred in a village near the Ebola River, from where this virus derives its name. And this virus caused a very serious outbreak in the year 2014, and it was such a severe outbreak that the World Health Organization declared that outbreak as an international, emergency of public health concern. Right. So, coming on to the species of Ebola virus, we have got five important ones: the Sudan species, the Zaire species, the Reston species, Thai forest, and Bundibugyo species. These names, are the names of these species are after the specific regions in Africa where the outbreaks were found. And do not forget the Zaire species. It's very, very important because this was the species which was responsible for the 2014 outbreak of hemorrhagic fever by the Ebola virus. So remember, Z for Zaire, Z for Zabardast, the most important species to be remembered. Now, moving on to the reservoir of these viruses. Now, the exact reservoir is not known, but the infected animals like fruit bats or primates like apes and monkeys are believed to be the reservoirs. Okay, this is a picture of a fruit bat. Now, as far as transmission is concerned, remember the transmission occurs via close contact with the blood, secretions, or other body fluids or tissues or organs of the infected animals like chimpanzees, gorillas, fruit bats, or monkeys. And once via contact with the infected animals to humans occurs, then human to human contact also is possible. How? Via contact of the broken skin or the mucous membrane of the eyes, nose, or the mouth with the infected blood, secretions, urine, tissues of the infected person. Okay, this is one important mode of spread from human being to human being. And then the other important mode of spread is via contact with the infected surfaces and and materials like bedding, clothing, and all. All right, and this also lays emphasis on the fact that the healthcare workers and the close contacts of the infected people, like the family members and all, they are at a higher chances of developing the contracting the infection from the infected people. Also remember that Ebola virus persists in the semen for up to 3 months, although sexual intercourse has not been yet proved to be an important mode of transmission of this virus. Now, coming on to the clinical features, the incubation period is 2 to 12 days, the average being 8 to 10 days. All right. The common symptoms include fever, headache, muscle pain, and sore throat, followed by abdominal pain, vomiting, and diarrhea. And as I said in the beginning, that these viruses are important causes of hemorrhagic fever. So expect rash with hemorrhage, and this can lead to sudden shock and death. Now, moving ahead with the lab diagnosis. a very important method and easy method of diagnosis is collecting the serum sample of the patient and go for antibody detection by ELISA. You can separately detect IgM and IgG antibodies against certain important viral antigens like the nucleoprotein, that is NP, and the glycoprotein, that is the GB. Okay, antigens, NP and GB antigens. Now, IgM antibodies appear 7 days after the onset of symptoms and they persist for 3 to 6 months. And IgG antibodies appear after around 15 to 20 days, and they persist for 3 to 5 years or longer. Other than ELISA, for detecting the antibodies in the serum, we can also go for immunofluorescence, that is the indirect immunofluorescence method for detecting the antibodies. Then, apart from antibody detection, another serological test we can go for is the antigen detection via ELISA, and which at all antigens can be targeted by this method. We can go ahead with the detection of the NP, that is nucleoprotein, BP40, that is virion protein 40, and GP, that is glycoprotein. Now, other than detecting antigen in the serum, we can also detect the antigen in the tissues of the infected person by immunohistochemical staining and histopathological examination. Then, of course, we have got the highly sensitive and specific methods like molecular methods, that is RT-PCR, that is reverse transcriptase PCR. Guys, when we say RT-PCR, RT actually stands for reverse transcriptase and not real time. All right. So the correct short form of reverse transcriptase PCR is RT-PCR. Okay, and if you want to convey real-time variety of the RT-PCR, then you have to say it is real-time RT-PCR. Okay, so RT-PCR is used for the genome detection of RNA viruses. What do we do in RT-PCR or reverse transcriptase PCR? We first convert the RNA of the virus into DNA, and this job is done by the reverse transcriptase enzyme. And once this DNA has been obtained with the help of this very useful enzyme, then we can amplify or produce Xerox copies of this DNA, right, by the PCR technique. So PCR is nothing but it's similar to Xerox machine, which is producing Xerox copies of the genome of the organism whose diagnosis you want to make. Right, and which specific genes can this RT-PCR detect in terms of Ebola virus diagnosis? It is the NP and GB, so glycoprotein and nucleoprotein. So remember two important proteins I have been constantly saying since past 2 minutes: G and N, that is glycoprotein and nucleoprotein. So remember GUN, gun, G for glycoprotein, NP for nucleoprotein. If I go back to the previous slide, even in ELISA method of detecting the serum antibody of the infected individual, we were targeting which antigens? We were targeting GP and NP antigens. So basically, we were interested in finding out antibodies against these two important antigens, GP and NP. And remember one more antigen in case of the serum antigen detection by ELISA, and that was BP40. Okay, so remember it's a VIP protein. Just remember number 40. And then again, for molecular methods, go back to the G and N of gun, the glycoprotein and the nucleoprotein. Alright, then of course electron microscopy of the specimen, which will show you the exact morphology of the virus. That's why I had put up a picture in the beginning itself. Alright, then you can also go for viral culture, which is usually not done because it is highly risky. Virus isolation can be done in 0 cell line, and this is a highly risky virus. If at all you want to go for viral culture, you have to go for biosafety level 4 cabinet. Alright. Also remember these two important viruses, Ebola and Marburg viruses, they're also important because they belong to the category A bioterrorism agents. Alright, I had done a separate post on the categorization of the bioterrorism agents ABC, along with how to memorize them. That post is available on the DANS exclusive club and also on my Facebook page. Do have a look, it will help you a lot, especially for the Central Institutes exam, and even for second years also it is important for their Viva Post exam. Alright, now moving ahead with the treatment, there's no specific treatment as such. You just make sure that the patient is hydrated adequately and go for symptomatic management. There is no specific antiviral drug or vaccine available so far. Alright, then the brother of Ebola virus, which is also a filovirus, is the Marburg virus. Now what you need to remember about Marburg virus is Marburg virus disease was first reported in Germany and Yugoslavia in 1967. So remember, Ebola had first made its appearance in 1976. If you just आगे पीछे करो 76, you get 67. So Ebola was 76. This is 67, and this disease was first encountered amongst lab workers. How these lab workers got the infection by coming in contact with the certain imported tissues from the Africa. Which tissues? It is the African green monkey tissues. And after this, virus caused outbreaks in other African countries like South Africa, Kenya, Angola, and all. And till date, more than 450 cases have been reported because of Marburg virus.